We don't know when that's really going to happen, so randomly someone will just stop the person that's talking and say, "Hey, look, the show's starting."
Hi, everyone. Oh, this bit's getting old, but we're doing it anyways. This is the NXT Lucha Underground Smackdown
Midweek war.
that thing.
I cut off SmackDown because I only watched half of it, so
That's true. We're only going to vaguely talk about SmackDown.
so it's like smack,
Yeah.
or if you prefer, down.
I like down works. But yeah, this is where we review SmackDown, NXT, and Lucha Underground for the week. I am Eamon at Eamon2 please, voice of Inspire Pro Wrestling. Just put myself over in the intro. And also joining me this week is one Mad Mike.
I am Mad Mike, voice of the internet.
Of the entire internet.
The entire internet. I don't think anyone's ever taken credit for that. So I'm going to. If you hear any negativity, I'm not affiliated with those people.
Good to know.
Because fuck those guys.
Well, let's go into SmackDown and start it off this week since it's the less that we have to talk about. I guess we'll do it. Do you have a one word for SmackDown? Or half of SmackDown?
Do I have a half word for SmackDown?
It's only got to be one syllable.
Decent. From what I saw, honestly, I missed the first half of SmackDown. I was catching up on NXT, but yeah, the second half of SmackDown was actually pretty decent, except for the contract signing, which I wonder how that turned out.
But hey, WWE contract signings all have to be the same, right? We'll get into that later. But no, I mean, from what I heard and have read, it seems like a decent show. Like it's not a big storyline development show, really.
But I'll jump right into the good 6-man tag match. The New Day versus Cesaro, Kid, and Ryback. Not a huge fan of the finish, but otherwise the match was fun. Because, I mean, it's the New Day and Cesaro and Kid.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, and Ryback's going to rub off on them because he's Ryback. My bad thing... can we please just make Kalisto a singles guy? Please.
Really?
Please, can we just do it?
I think... This is good. We won't get a long discussion about this, but I feel like Sin Cara, obviously not the person Sin Cara, but the character of Sin Cara has received a bad rap. I mean, for obvious reasons, but I like Sin Cara's work now with Kalisto. But the thing is, I feel like he's never going to get out of that rut of what people think of Sin Cara as.
You mean the guy who almost cracked his head on the mat this week?
I did see a GIF of that actually. I think that was because from what it seemed, Kalisto did the thing where he held the ropes open and it looks like he clipped his Kalisto's leg as he was going out. But I mean that happens, and it's like I think Hunico's doing a decent enough job.
I know, but Sin Cara's holding him back. Sin Cara's holding Kalisto back, I think.
So if they just debuted like a new like come up with a new like mass like gimmick or whatever, like you think he would be better off?
Absolutely. I honestly I almost wish that it was Sin Cara and not Jimmy Uso that was out with the injury.
Yeah.
Because if Jimmy Uso out with the injury, no one's going to pay to watch one Uso.
Yeah.
And just watching the tag match with the Matadors, which was a good match, it was fun, but as soon as Sin Cara got in there, the match just slowed down. And that shouldn't happen.
I think the one benefit of that tag team is one of the great things about Kalisto is that he is such a great hot tag. When he gets a hot tag, it is, amazing stuff. Obviously, Kalisto's super athletic and he would always have super athletic matches, even singles matches, but getting worked over and stuff like that. Like, it's one thing. I think like a fresh hot tag I've seen. It's kind of like the Roman Reigns syndrome.
I was gonna say, are you calling him a lucha Roman Reigns?
But that's what Roman Reigns was really good at. Once he got the hot tags in the Shield, he was fucking killer.
That's true.
I think I definitely see what you're saying. I just think a lot of it is just the irreparable damage that has been caused to the Sin Cara character, not the person.
I just wish we could get a chance to see him in a singles match because I don't think we have yet. Like,
not on WWE at least.
Yeah. Like, I would kill for him to answer Cena's open challenge next week.
Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine that match? Holy shit! Like,
can you imagine?
Had fun tossing him around. Cena will toss the fuck out of Kalisto.
Can you imagine Cena's like wide-eyed expressions, like when he was in that Koji clutch from Sami Zayn? Fuck, I can't wait.
Cena's going to look at Kalisto bouncing around the ring like, shit, I can't even spell that. Like,
yeah.
No,
I agree.
All right, but the one thing I'd change. Can't we do contract signings in the back or maybe have them mailed to people?
Or just make them interesting.
I don't know if you can anymore without like an advocate or something. Why do we do contract signings?
In theory, and going again, not to jump too far ahead to NXT, but the reason you should be doing them is to get over characters, and you use it like a promo. You use it like in a way to continue a story or get characters things across. The thing is, WWE doesn't do contract signings like that. They just do it so they can have stuff for the video package, and that's stupid.
And sometimes you can get over a character way better with a pre-produced package than you can with a contract signing. Again, spoiler alert for NXT. But do you want to do NXT first or you want to do Lucha? Should you watch SmackDown? Sure, just tune out for the contract signing. Sure. Honestly, also, the matches were good. Naomi and who was it?
One of the, or was it? I think it was Emma. Yeah,
Naomi and Emma had a fun match. It was nice to see Naomi with a little bit more aggressive style. I still kind of like
She's still doing butt stuff, I'm guessing.
Yeah, a little bit of butt stuff. And I don't think she had the light up boots, which I was very disappointed with.
I think somebody told her that those boots got over, and then they were like, "Nix it,"
Yeah,
which I guess is smart.
When Naomi comes back as a face, because she will eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Those boots are coming back.
I think so.
Yeah.
Also, possible Wyatt family reunion happening?
Maybe. I think Eric Rowan just realized that he hasn't been on a relative show in about 8 months. So.
Keep in mind the last time we saw Eric Rowan, he was eating salad with Heath Slater.
To be fair, that's a great way to spend a Monday night. I'd love to have some salad with Heath Slater.
I would love to just hang out with Heath Slater one day. He seems like a decent enough guy. But yeah, let's go into NXT for this week.
Alrighty.
I'll take the reins. My one word for NXT.
No, we already did that show.
Yeah.
Reigns, Roman, Reign. Boom.
Buddy. But no, my one word for NXT this week is stamp.
Yes, that is correct. And we're not talking about Dennis Stamp getting booked.
No.
We're not talking about that.
He's not booked. But going into my good for this week, it's broad to where it covers a lot of things. The women's stuff, all the women's stuff on NXT, I thought was really good.
Holy shit! This is almost like an episode of Glow.
Yeah, someone mentioned it. Like, there's 6 segments this week featuring women.
It's ridiculous. It's awesome, but it's ridiculous. Like, did they feature the entire women's roster?
The only people I think Alexa Bliss was the only one I think that wasn't
right. Alexa, yeah, Alexa. I forgot.
But even that, she's someone in a story. Like, yeah, that's cool. Most everyone was featured, and that's amazing and close to unheard of for mainstream wrestling. But the match with Charlotte and Emma was good. I love the Emma working over Charlotte's knee, and that was really, really phenomenal stuff.
Deadeye's aggressive Emma is my new favorite thing. Like,
it's really great.
So good. And my favorite, like, as much as I love the Emma character with the dancing and the bubbles and everything, I love that she wasn't taking any of Charlotte's bullshit. Like
No.
Charlotte went to jump up on the middle rope and Emma just kicked her leg out. Like, no,
Yeah,
that's
she's
not happening.
her wrestling's changed. It's not
Mhm.
just
Yeah,
a change in attitude and just saying I'm a different person. Like
and
she acts it.
she changed her entrance too.
Mm-hmm.
Like she was
She does
teasing
the.
that she was
I
gonna try
loved
and
her.
skin the cat, and she
Yeah, I
just
loved her not doing the skin the cat. That was really, really good. And then they had the conversation with Emma and Bailey afterwards, which was great. I'm hoping they get that match at Takeover as well.
Mhm.
Um, and then we had the stuff leading to the women's match, which was really the women's title match, I should say, which was really good. Great Becky Lynch promo video. Really covered what she was all about. I love that they pointed out that she came in as a jigging Irish whatever, and how that wasn't her, and she really regrets that. That's such a good character point, and I'm glad that that NXT ran with that.
Also, supplemental props for the picture of pimply face Kevin Owens.
Yes, Pimply Fit. There's
Oh my god, homeboy needs some Noxzema.
yeah. I mean,
Like he fights for a prize. That prize should be oxypads.
well, that and also just pictures of her with like goofy as fuck Finn Balor is like
Yeah,
that was really cool to see. And the contract signing as well was really really good. Again, Becky Lynch getting over her character points, and then Sasha Banks just being the fucking greatest.
I am actually looking into getting my signature on a stamp.
That is, I love that. I think Rich pointed out she's like that's how she signs autographs for people. Like that's amazing.
That's amazing. That reminds me of. Did you ever see the movie The Fifth Element?
No, I did not.
Okay, there's a character in that called Ruby Rod, where his autograph is he literally dips a paintbrush into red paint and just brushes it over all the autograph books.
That's
Like
amazing.
that's the signature.
And even, I mean, just beating the shit out of Becky Lynch and like standing on her head on top of the table is so fucking amazing. And I love that Becky's doing
But I love that that
now.
wasn't. I love that that wasn't the end of it, and Becky got a little bit back.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was way more interesting than the SmackDown contract signing because
Fuck yeah.
I mean, still I think the promo like Sasha Banks saying "Fabulous Moolah, greatest diva of all time," until I showed up,
I love
girl. Like
Dude, she is literally above and beyond the greatest right now.
like Sasha Banks is kind of like a dark version of the Moesha character from TV in the 90s.
Mm.
The Brandy sitcom Moesha, but like a dark, evil version of it, and it's fabulous.
Yeah. It really is spectacular. We also got a Dana Brooke promo that's hinting to an eventual match with Charlotte. I like the kind of story they're doing with it, where it's like she's upset at the fact that Charlotte's in those new tap out commercials, which I think is kind of a cool point. And then the other women's segment was Carmella yelling in distress as Enzo and Cass got beat up by Blake and Murphy. But yes,
one quick note: Dana Brooke needs to not say whack.
yeah.
She just, honey, no.
I found this better than her first backstage promo, but yeah, it was interesting.
I just wish someone would treat Devin Taylor like a human being.
Devin Taylor is one day just gonna fucking kill everyone.
And you know who she's gonna eventually snap on, right?
Yeah.
Enzo.
Why Enzo? Enzo's
Why not Enzo?
Oh God, Enzo's at least generally nice. Going into my bad for NXT this week, this was actually a pretty good episode of NXT, so it's kind of hard to find a bad. I'm gonna just kind of default and go with Alex Riley. I do kind of like the way that they're taking it, where Alex is pissed that the crowd doesn't care about him. I think I'm worried though, based off of the injury to Sami Zayn's rotator cuff. He'll be involved a bit more, I'm assuming, with some of the stuff. I know he's going in for surgery, but yeah. I feel like he is going to get involved more, and it's going to be interesting. Because for those that don't read Brandon's best and worst column, I think he really nailed it on the head where his promo sounded like it was Riley's suicide note. Like he was telling people he was going to off himself.
But I mean, even if it was, would we care?
That's the thing, and it's weird because like I don't know if it was just good editing on their part, but the Full Sail audience like gave a shit about Alex Riley, kinda. Obviously, until Kevin Owens showed up.
I think they just like screaming rage.
Maybe they're just humoring him.
By the way, if that was Alex Riley's suicide note, on his tombstone, the epitaph should just read "Rage." Not even his name. Just rage.
Just rage.
Just rage.
And the thing I would change about NXT this week, that's a hard one. I think, keep in mind, I think he did a good job with it. I would use someone other than Michael Cole to do the interviews with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I think Michael did a good job, but he was talking about, like, with Kevin Owens specifically, it's just like, how could you? This was the man, who, like, you don't know the story of Owens and Sami Zayn. You were told the story of Owens and Sami Zayn. Like, if Renee Young was doing it, Renee Young has been there in NXT since Sami's debut and all that stuff. I feel like having someone else who has more of just would have been around Owens and Zayn a bit more would have been better for that position.
I understand why they did Michael Cole though, because he's been doing his midweek interviews with Triple H, so to have him do the sit down makes it feel more important.
Yeah, and to have him do it with two NXT guys. Yeah. To have him do it with two NXT guys is really cool. Yeah, I like when he was going off about like how he was trying to sell the fact that he was angry at Kevin. It's like, you don't know Kevin Owens. Like I just didn't buy it. But other than that, I thought he did a good job.
Kevin Owens was so great in that.
Yeah, Kevin Owens is just like
I want Kevin Owens promo every week. Like, if one day we can get a Kevin Owens Paul Heyman promo, oh my god, like that would just be. I mean, now Michael Cole was so speechless at the end that he was like, "So, I guess anything else to add?" And Kevin Owens was like, "Oh yeah, follow me on Twitter."
I love it.
He's doing a wrap up like we do on our podcast.
He's getting his plugs in.
Like if he said, "Go to Slice on Broadway," in Pittsburgh for a delicious slice of pizza, I would have completely accepted it, and I would have driven to Pittsburgh for a Slice on Broadway because Kevin Owens said it's fucking delicious pizza.
That's true.
By the way, Sorg, there's your plug.
SliceOnBroadway.com. But I now that I think about it, I instead of having Michael Cole, I think Corey Graves would have been really good in that position because he, like I said, he traveled the Indies a bit more with the two. But again, that's kind of nitpicking because overall, I think this was a really good episode of NXT, and it was kind of hard to find like a bad and change.
Which is good because honestly, the past couple episodes of NXT, I've been a little on the fence.
Yeah, I think it's because they're leading into Takeover and because they're going into it. That combined with with the touring stuff that they did and all that stuff, it kind of threw off the tapings and stuff like that. But I think they're back on track now. I'm excited. Would I recommend this week's episode of NXT? Absolutely. The wrestling launch is really good. We'd even mention Hideo Itami and Tyler Breeze, which was a great match. Obviously teasing the stuff with the two and Finn Balor, which actually probably won't happen now because Hideo Itami's sidelined for 6 to 8 months.
We need people to stop using their shoulders.
It's always shoulders, except for I think Alex Riley's was his knee or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, but to be fair, Alex Riley's knee is his shoulder. Yeah. Because he's always on the bat. He's always on the mat. So it's about the same level.
Makes sense. What do you think? What do you think they're going to improvise with? I personally would like to see them do Balor and Breeze opening the show with the winner facing Owens in the main event.
I think Sammy might be okay to compete.
Yeah, we don't know the extent of Sammy's injury.
I think Sammy's going to be okay to compete, honestly, because if the injury happened when everyone thinks it did, it happened right in his entrance, and he still wrestled a really fucking decent match with Cena. I think if he just is off tour for a little while and just rehabs, I think he'll probably be okay to wrestle.
I think so. Hopefully,
because all the tapings are done until Takeover.
Yeah, so he doesn't have to wrestle, till then.
Yeah.
And I think obviously the 3-way match is an easy fix to just make it a singles match, which will be great anyways because Finn Balor.
Or you know what, you can add someone in there.
You can add a certain new superstar that's coming to NXT.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I forgot what. There's so much I didn't even mention from this week's episode.
Well, there was a lot that happened on this week.
Yeah, fucking Uhaa Nation made his first appearance on the show. Yeah. And got a musical montage of his first time in the Performance Center. Oh my god, it's really cool that Uha's only been signed for less than a month. And they have enough confidence in his ability to be like, you're going to be on NXT now. That's really cool.
I could honestly see him making a splash, because the takeovers, they always try and do something a little bit different.
Yeah.
If you need a third for that, I mean, he doesn't have to win, but he can prevent someone else from winning.
That's true. I'm very interested to see Uhaa Nation.
Either that, NXT. Or he can just come back and squash Mojo Rawley at TakeOver. One or the other.
Either way.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely I'd recommend this week's episode. Let's go into Lucha Underground for this week. Mad Mike, what is your Uno Palabra?
Oh,
that's one word for those that don't speak Spanish.
Yeah, we never really said that, did we?
Yeah, we're just gonna assume people know.
I mean, people know what we do. Uno Palabra es revival.
Oh man,
revival.
I got this slightly spoiled for me before it happened, and I got so upset, and I was just it makes me so happy.
Was it Lunchbox getting back at you?
No, I don't think Lunchbox watches. I don't think Lunchbox watches Lucha Underground, which he should, because goddamn.
Yes.
But yeah, what is your bueno for this week's Lucha Underground?
Mi bueno, Dario Cueto. Dario fucking Cueto, man. I said this when I was doing my live tweet of Lucha. Dario Cueto, the actor and the character, are both so good at their job that it can get me excited for the easiest ABC booking you've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And excited for a main event with two guys who I've seen wrestle dozens of times.
Yeah.
And I was actually interested.
The Johnny Mundo Alberto Patron match is more interesting than any of their matches in WWE.
I don't know if I'd go that far. I don't know.
I would have to
mean together. You mean together?
Together. Yeah.
Okay,
No, not singularly.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, but it was just so much fun. And I felt there were stakes.
Mm-hmm.
There was a little bit of heat too. And plus Patron is so good at being a dick.
And they just simply built this thing as, Patron getting under his skin and Mundo, kind of being cocky / confident and on that edge. Yeah, it was just really good. And then it's showing that simple stuff like that works. Yeah,
I mean, that's all you need. That's really all you need. I don't know. It was just fun.
Mm-hmm. There's literally no better way to put it.
Yeah.
It's fun. Wrestling is just simply that. It's it's sometimes the best thing.
And sometimes the less you can describe it, the better, which means you should be watching it instead of hearing jackasses like us talk about it.
Oh,
But
not too bad.
Mimalo this week is Hernandez. I like Hernandez. I do. But I know he's trying to be a Shaheel and everything, but he like the person of Hernandez needs to realize that Lucha Underground is not TNA.
Yeah, I do think Hernandez did slightly better this week.
A little bit because there was an actual gimmick to the tag match, but
yeah, and there were parts where he allowed Cuerno and Cage to work down on him a bit. Like he was still being cocky as Hernandez, but he wasn't no selling them, and that was good. Yeah, I do think there's a story that they were trying to get across, and I do enjoy that. I think Conan was really great in that role.
I think he was too, but it still just seemed like I've been waiting for Conan to turn on Puma ever since Puma won the Lucha Underground title, even before that. Yeah. So I just worry that they're just really slow burning it.
But I mean, I feel like, technically, it is Lucha's longest running story, and I think I'm interested to see what happens because you can't. I don't think they're gonna do they can't do Prince Puma versus Conan, that's not gonna happen. So,
Eamon. Do you want to know what I think they might do, and it'll make you sad, and it'll make me sad?
What is that?
Hernandez and Conan versus Prince Puma and Vampiro.
Yeah, but I think Conan's at a point where he can't. Even the stuff where Cage beat him up, it's very minimal.
Bret Hart had a match with Vince McMahon at WrestleMania.
Yeah, and
there's a lot of stuff you can do.
Hey, maybe it'll be good, and maybe it'll tell a really good story. Because as sometimes Vampiro is cringeworthy, I think they are trying to build a story with him not liking Conan and realizing that he's a snake. It's a good story. It is a really good story.
If that's where they're going, they're slow burning the shit out of it, which is good. But at the same time, I have no desire to see that.
Yeah,
and I don't even know if Tarantino literally directs the match or Rodriguez directs the match. I don't think I'll be interested in that.
I am slightly interested in Puma Hernandez.
Yeah,
which I think will happen eventually. I think hopefully their styles will mix well, and maybe Hernandez is no selling kind of thing may actually work because they'll be taking Puma for granted. I think they could do something really cool with that. Yeah, I'm just not a gigantic fan of Hernandez, but yeah. And what is the one thing you would change this week from Underground?
Mi Cambio. I would have done a little bit more of Daivari and Texano. Tejano before the schmaz. I want to see that match that. It seems weird though how after their first match, Patron and Tejano have switched.
Yeah,
and with almost no explanation because I thought Daivari would be a face. Yeah, that's what I assumed, but
they're playing him off as very he's got a rich character gimmick. I really did love his promo with Dario. He's just on his phone the entire time.
I almost wanted to start the midweek war like that with me just being on my phone yeah, Eamon, how you doing?
And the look on Dario's face is I'm going to fucking kill you.
I don't know who Dario was more annoyed with. Daivari this week or the Moth 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
They're both equal levels. And by the way, that is another thing I would change. No Moth this week. What the fuck? I need more Lucha Killer Moth. I think
it's a case of and Lucha's usually really good with fitting a lot of stuff on their shows. Notice I think this week they cut a lot of entrances. There was a lot of times where the guys were just in the ring and they started the match, which I think is smart. But we had no Moth, no further of the Sexy Star Pentagon stuff. So there's other storylines on the show that didn't really get featured.
Is there going to be any more Sexy Star and Pentagon? I assume that was done.
I think the commentaries at least put over the fact that Pentagon wants revenge for losing a Sexy Star.
Oh yeah, because we don't know who his master is yet.
Yeah, I think there's much more to come with that.
Okay.
Side note with the Tejano.
Either that, or it could end up with Pentagon feuding with his master.
Possibly.
Like, because honestly, the technical won.
Yeah.
Like she got her revenge, and all the guys whose arms he broke are back. So
I do think that Pentagon. It's going to be a case of kind of like a Phoenix Mil Muertes, where the end has to be beyond just winning a wrestling match because he's so vicious and because he's so crazed. So I do think there is more to come. Quick side note with the Tejano Daivari match. All ring announcers out there, I apologize. Melissa Santos is the greatest fucking ring announcer in wrestling right now. For Tejano sprinting to the ring to attack Daivari and her just going, "Oh shit," and running. The minute she said "oh shit," I stood up and started clapping because I was like, "That is amazing."
But I will give Lucha credit for that because Vampiro does that too. Like whenever they approach the announce table, he'll scream "oh shit" and get out of the way.
But it works.
That's the normal reaction. That is a normal reaction. That is,
if a dude with a bull rope whip is running towards me, I get the fuck out.
Especially, she's just had trauma from Pentagon Jr.
Exactly. It's perfect. She is underratedly.
She has PTPD, post-traumatic Pentagon disorder.
Side note also with ring announcers, quickly going back to NXT, why the fuck did you guys replace JoJo with Creepy Greg?
Yeah.
I'm upset about that.
I think it's because they're working JoJo into the main roster.
Maybe.
Which is okay by me. I like JoJo as a ring announcer, but
Creepy Greg.
Yeah, fucking creepy Greg.
But no, listen, and I guess going into it, would you recommend Lucha Underground for this week?
Of course, I'd recommend Lucha. And by the way, stay tuned through the credits because you never know when you might see Katrina with the Infinity Gauntlet try to wake up Mil Muertes.
That was beyond just the happiness that comes with knowing that we're getting Mil Muertes back. I think that this is one of the best shot vignette sort of things Lucha Underground's done. I think it was really beautifully shot.
And the fact that he had the contacts and he was literally being raised from the dead. It's just awesome.
It's fantastic.
So good.
And we got a lot of cool stuff to this episode with the Black Lotus.
Mm-hmm. I cannot. I need to know what Matanza is. I need to know this. I need to know who it is. At this point, I don't even care if it's the Great Khali. I just need to see it. I need it to happen.
Yeah, it's highly anticipated, I think.
I kind of wish El Gigante was still alive because holy fuck would he be perfect. Holy fuck would he be perfect.
It'd be really wonderful. And then also the tag match with Son of Havoc and Angelico against the Crew was really great as well. And Angelico was just fucking amazing. Mm-hmm. I think it's kind of cliche to say, but his knee strikes are some of my favorite things.
Yeah. Oh my god, he's like a fucking rabbit in there. How quickly he can hop
extend himself.
He can he's got so gangly, but he's quick. As soon as he hops in the ring, he can literally lift the knee up out of anywhere.
It was phenomenal.
If I could have book one cross promotional match, it might be Angelico versus Kalisto.
Yeah, that would be
because that would be holy shit.
But yeah, really great stuff this whole week or this whole midweek, I should say, for wrestling. Going into who won this week, this is kind of an interesting one. I do feel like Lucha and NXT this week were really close. The closest they've been in a little while. This is tough, actually. I'm going to have to slightly go with Lucha Underground just because I think the main event was really phenomenal. like I think Mundo Alberto is something people need to seek out and show people that, hey, you know, look at their work here and look at their work in WWE if they're put together in just like a random match that's, just for no reason. Because in WWE they were just mid card guys that they would put out there and be like, oh well, they're gonna have a good match. They were in that like Dolph Ziggler like workhorse syndrome where they're never gonna break out beyond that. Mm-hmm. And this is them telling a story, putting heart, putting everything into it. And it's phenomenal.
I think I'm gonna go with NXT.
It's a really close one.
As much as I enjoyed Lucha this week, the promo work on NXT, which is usually where Lucha destroys them, the promo work on NXT was amazing this week.
It was.
Like the Becky Lynch video package, the Sasha backstage thing, Kevin Owens as always is fantastic, and I loved like. Dead in the Eyes Emma is my favorite thing, and she wrestled Charlotte like she should fucking wrestle Charlotte.
Yeah,
like,
that was a phenomenal match.
Really, really good.
Like, the more I think about it, like
she was pulling back on Charlotte's hair to stretch out a submission hold. Who does that? That's great. That is really like she out-dirtied the dirtiest diva in the game.
It works. It was such an intelligent move because of it favors Charlotte because it means Charlotte can't do the figure eight, and so she had to go with the natural selection, and it also plays into
it too.
Yeah, it also plays into the Emma lock though too, and I think that like the layers of that match is so smart. Yeah, I'm so excited for assumingly the eventual Bayley Emma match that we're getting because that's going to be killer.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was the midweek wars for this week. I like this because this is a time where, for the most part, we could be happy and we can,
and we don't have those assholes like Riz and Heel Garza and Matt Carlins and all those dicks around. It's just me and Eamon broing out over some really good wrestling,
and just having like when I talk about Lucha Underground, especially, but also NXT, I just I love like feeling passionate about it. You know what I mean? Like, Raw, like there's sometimes where I watch Raw and it's just like I don't give a fuck about any of these people. Like, but like you get so invested in these shows.
And Lucha Underground, like I watch Lucha Underground. Like I watch Arrow and Flash. And if you have heard me on the Rambling Movie Minute, you know how much I love those shows. Like if I see anything on a dirt sheet that even remotely says Lucha Underground spoiler, I burn my computer.
Yeah.
Because I do not want to see anything.
I'm at that way now too.
Like even the one time I thought I was spoiled on Lucha Underground, they fucking flipped it on me and I wasn't spoiled.
I love, and also like they get. I feel like it's cheap to say, but they get it. What was it like? Maybe a week or 2 weeks ago, we were talking about, hey, I hope they're not done with Katrina. Is they're going to ever do anything with Katrina again? And next week, they finally, give us something, and they've done that so many times, and they've earned our trust, and I think that's so important in wrestling. It's not just about putting on good matches or having good stuff every once in a while. It's about earning people's trust, and that creates customers and creates fans that are devoted to your product.
It's almost like we're waiting for the other shoe to drop with them because they haven't had a bad week.
No,
like they've had weeks.
They've had bad stuff, but they've never had
never had a poor week.
They've never made me feel bad for watching it, and that's really amazing. And I just think that that's the thing. You mentioned like comparing it to like Arrow and stuff like that. I don't watch TV. I don't watch like series like that. I'm really not a TV kind of guy, but I'm invested in these shows. And like you said, like I can't, like I get so immersed in like no spoiler, like just fucking, now I'm getting like so invested in it. I get invested in this more than like any other, TV show. Like it's something so special. And then when to the point where when people say they don't watch Lucha Underground, I'm just like, fucking why? Why are you not watching? Like, it's so infuriating to me, and I don't know why. But that's cool because,
like, as much as I want to go to the temple to see a show, I almost don't want to go because I know I'm gonna get spoiled.
Yeah,
I know it's like gonna be it's whenever you go, it's gonna be like several weeks ahead of whatever they're showing on TV. And
whenever they do their, I think the best time to ever go to the temple is whenever they're doing their eventual season premiere, whatever thing, because then you start in fresh and all that stuff. But yeah, it's just I have nothing but amazing things to say about Lucha Underground every week because it's more than just wrestling matches.
It's like we've been asking for years what the new formula is for wrestling to make it fresh. This is it.
Yeah.
It's episodic television. There's a season, which is great for, guys who get injured or pop out their rotator cuffs.
Yeah.
Because, something like that happens. And if people have time off, like I'm not saying WWE should go to a season format because obviously they can't.
Yeah, because if you did, you have people who are so experienced with their product that you would just anger your audience, and that's But
you know what? Mil Muertes hasn't been on for about a month and a half.
Say more, probably like 2 months.
Yeah, and they just brought him back in a backstage segment, and guess what? It was like seeing an old friend again. Like, hey, buddy, hey, you just been lying in that casket the whole time? What have you been doing? I can't wait to see you again. Like, that formula, forget about how they film the backstage promos because that's a whole separate entity that you need a direction. You need a director type mind like Robert Rodriguez and Mark Burnett. You need that kind of mindset to do that. Not everyone can do that. It's very difficult. You need to have a whole concept out. But to give guys some time off, like just after a story ends, they go away for a little bit.
And it's not like when Mil Muertes gets put in that casket, you feel like this could be the very last we see of this character because that's the end of the character.
Or when Drago flies off like Johnny fucking Storm.
Compare that to when CM Punk quits the WWE and then the week later on Raw he's back.
Or when John Cena gets fired.
And the next week he's back. Like
the next night he's back. Not even the next week. Like he just shows up like, oh yeah, nope, not even sitting front row. I'm just walking around backstage, Because
it's so infuriating because they feel like if you're not injured, well, we have to take everything we can of you, and because people will be disappointed otherwise. And it's like, no, you can tell a story.
And plus, when those guys are taking time off, you can use them for other things, promotional appearances. You can use them for stuff on the network. Like, you have many, many resources to do different things. Hell, you know what? Have them be a guest commentator in NXT. Like, do some cross-promotional work. Cross-promotional work. I would love to see John Cena go and talk about NXT and comment on how these young kids are trying to take my spot for a month.
Yeah.
Like him debating with Corey Graves over a Tyler Breeze Finn Balor match? Yes, please.
Absolutely.
Something like that. Like, get creative with it. You don't always have to wrestle on your lowest. Plus, guess what? Then you've got John fucking Cena on NXT, and people who are fans of John Cena, guess what they're going to watch? NXT.
And when he wrestles, it means more. When he eventually does wrestle, it'll mean something. I think that people get so... The reason why people are so demanding of an alternative now and there's such a need for it now is because there are people, fans and promoters and people involved in the business that get so caught up of this is how wrestling is and there's no changing it. There's no way to change it. This is the formula. We have to wrestle 300 out of the 365 days a year. We have to do this and this and this every week, and it has to have, you can't take time off of this. It's like, take risks and do something different.
There's always a way to change it.
There's always a way to change it.
No, I
No,
was gonna
yeah, go
say
ahead.
like the Marvel movies. Like a lot of people are saying that, oh, everything Marvel turns out is going to be the same thing. It's gonna be light. It's gonna be airy. It's gonna be pop. It's gonna be funny. And then Daredevil on Netflix comes along, and you have a guy crushing someone else's head with a fucking car door.
Yeah.
Like, there's different ways to do things. You just have to have a vision and follow that through.
That's why, like I see people talk about Lucha Underground who watch it, who knock certain things on the show, and it's like I read it, and I'm like, you're knocking it because that's how wrestling usually goes, and it's like it doesn't. If you just look at it for what it is and take your mind of what you think wrestling has been and what it will always be out of the equation, it's fucking great. Like, there's so many people that just get caught up with like wrestling has to be like this. Like I'm sure Jim Cornette fucking hates Lucha Underground because he doesn't think, he's so like narrow-minded in like what I'm not trying to knock him, but like that's just the person I thought of. Like, but there's people out there.
Well, JR probably doesn't like it either because it's too fast paced.
Yeah, and there's people that are so caught up in wrestling having to be just like the 80s and just like the 90s, and it's like, you know what? We are, living in a modern era where you can do so much different stuff. And Lucha Underground really is on the cutting edge.
And you know who I bet loves Lucha Underground? Paul Heyman.
I'm sure.
I bet he kind of wishes he could work for Lucha.
I'm sure that.
Could you imagine Paul Heyman managing Cage?
I think that when they did the on the network, they did like the ECW Exposed thing or whatever, where he was answering questions. I think, and I remember him saying something along the lines of, if ECW were to continue past 2001, it would have gone more of an MMA route, and more of a, like it wouldn't have been the same product.
Right.
And that's the thing with Paul Heyman is he thinks ahead and he thinks towards the future. And I totally agree. I think he would love Lucha Underground.
Yeah, I mean, I've said for years, like, TV now, it goes to more story-driven things, like Breaking Bad, like Mad Men, Game of Thrones. Like, all that stuff is on TV. It's not movies.
Yeah.
Lucha Underground does that. They have consistent storylines where all the characters are defined. They have their own traits. They have their own personalities, and they follow their alignment. Like, and you can see a specific story arc for someone like Angelico. You can see that story arc from where he was when he first started to exactly where he is now, and it makes sense.
Yeah. And, it's like, here's hoping that, I hope and pray in my heart that, Billy Corgan has a great creative idea and fixes TNA and, kicks them from this thing where it's like we have to be like it's the 1990s and it's all about shock value and just like gimmicks and whatever, because guess what, fans change and audiences change, and hopefully this Lucha Underground will inspire more companies to be different.
I see what you did there.
I didn't mean that intentionally.
I see what you did there.
InspiredProWrestling.com. Hey, we kind of got some Lucha Underground talent on our May 31st show. But whatever.
You have Lucha-ish Underground.
Lucha-ish Underground. But let's wrap this up.
Yes.
We could talk about Lucha Underground for hours. But this is the obviously the
midweek war.
You can check us out every Tuesday night at live.sorgatronmedia.com for the Wrestling Mayhem Show and the Indie Mayhem Show, where we discuss all facets of professional wrestling. We also do a Raw wrap-up here. We also review different wrestlings for the Mayhem Watch Party. There's a lot of stuff that we do. We get to talk about pretty much near everything in professional wrestling, and that's really cool. So if you're enjoying it, share this with your friends. Let us know. Give us feedback. You can email us feedback at goodtimes@wrestlingmayhemshow.com. Please do that.
If you want to email us about Lucha and NXT,
do it.
We will read it. We will absolutely just make sure to put Midweek War in the title. We won't read it on the regular show, but we'll read it here.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Give us feedback. Give us questions about what we think about certain aspects of the shows.
If you want to know which of me and Eamon is more badass, we can answer that too.
Obviously not as badass as Riz, but whatever. But yeah, you can also donate to us on Patreon. You can go to WrestlingMayhemShow.com and donate through our Patreon account there. It helps fund stuff like this and it allows us to keep doing these things. You can also buy our shirts at ProWrestlingTees.com/WrestlingMayhemShow, where we have a variety of different designs and definitely something you can pick up as well and support us on your body as well as monetarily.
They're very comfortable and they may help you get laid.
May possibly.
I didn't say by who. I'm just saying DJ Lunchbox would bang the hell out of you.
DJ Lump, but then DJ Lunchbox, he's like a bull and just sees red and is like, fucks it. I don't know why I said that. He's totally not that. So this has been your midweek lore for this week. I'm Eamon at Eamon2 please, and that's Mad Mike at Mad Mike 4883. We will see you guys next time.